At IAAPA 2019, Great Coasters International introduced their Titan track to the coaster world. These steel segments could be used to replace wooden track in high-stress areas of a coaster, or add inversions to existing rides, or even build brand new steel track coasters from the ground up. The sky's the limit for GCI with this new track, and you can expect their future coasters to rival RMC and the Gravity Group when it comes to innovation and crazy elements. GCI put some of this Titan track on White Lightning at Funspot Orlando just so they could obtain their patent. And we just learned that one of the worst wooden coasters in America, Predator at Six Flags Darien Lake, will be getting the Titan track for 2021. If you saw my video about coasters that need to get RMC'd, Predator topped that list, so I'm a little disappointed that this won't be happening. But I do think that a smoother Predator could be a solid ride. Predator is a coaster from the DIN Corporation, which shows that GCI is willing to work on coasters outside of their own catalog. So this opens up a world of possibilities. Today, I want to look at which other of the world's coasters could be getting a visit from GCI, and who would benefit the most from this brand new Titan track. I'm going to break these coasters into categories. Coasters that will likely get work done by another company. Coasters that just need RMC. Coasters that are old and could benefit from some steel track. Coasters from parks that would never RMC anything. Good coasters that could be made even better. And finally, some great coasters that could move into elite status if they weren't so rough. So let's start with coasters that will likely get work done by another company. And start with Tremors at Silverwood, a CCI coaster from 1999. When I rode this back in 2019, it beat me up a little, and I think it could use some work. But RMC headquarters are just down the street from the park, and Tremors already has a little bit of RMC topper track installed. I think any future upgrades will be done using RMC and not GCI. The same applies to Outlaw Run and Lightning Rod, a pair of RMC topper track woodies that have gotten rough over the years. Lightning Rod is apparently receiving some steel iBox track for next season, which will make it more reliable and smooth out some of the rough spots. And I wouldn't be surprised if Silver Dollar City put some iBox track on Outlaw Run also. RMC is perfectly capable of taking care of their own rides, but the world's GCIs, as well as CCIs, DINs, and other manufacturers may turn to the Titan track to make small but effective upgrades. But then there's the coasters that just need to get RMC'd, mainly because they have boring layouts, and even if they were smoother, they would still be pretty bad. I put the Boss at Six Flags St. Louis on this list. I could see where a smoother track could help this out, but it has so much RMC potential, and the park needs that one elite standout coaster. They'd be better off RMCing it. Bandit at Movie Park Germany is an RCCA Woody, and they have a horrible track record from the handful of wooden coasters that they've built over the years. Yeah, they were responsible for designing that. Scrub that whole RCCA layout and have RMC do their thing. Hellcat at Clementon Park is an SNS wooden coaster, and it looks like one of the worst coasters ever built. SNS never should have gotten into woodies. And this is even an Alan Schilke creation, which doesn't seem possible. But I guess you can't win them all. Roar at Six Flags America is a very early GCI, and I think it's both rough and boring. The park really needs an RMC ejector machine in its lineup, so I think it's a pretty obvious move. Grizzly at California's Great America has one of the most bland layouts of any major coaster I've ever seen. It's not even rough, so the Titan track does it no good. The park has Gold Striker, so it doesn't need Grizzly in its current form. Give it a fresh new RMC layout. Le Monster at La Ronde is a twin track coaster that doesn't do anything and has some jackhammer moments. So if RMC can in fact legally work in Canada, it should head up to Montreal. And while it's there, it can head over to Toronto and take care of Wildebeest, the wooden coaster at Canada's Wonderland with the worst layout, and therefore the best candidate for the Iron Horse treatment. All of these coasters would be helped greatly by an RMC overhaul, and not much at all by the GCI Titan track. There are some old classic coasters that are notorious for being rough, and could use some Titan track to give them some new life without infringing on their classic layout. One of them is Grand National at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. So many Brits have left comments on my videos telling me how rough this 1935 coaster is. I can see this happening to an 85-year-old coaster on the shoreline, and maybe the Titan track would help. Another is Wildcat at Lake Compounce. This one's even older, turning 93 this year, and even though it was closed for me, all I hear about it is that it's rough and miserable. It's not likely to be RMC'd, but GCI could come in and maybe make this rideable again. The last one is questionable. I put the Beast at Kings Island on here. There's no way you want to alter this classic coaster, standing as the world's longest wooden coaster 41 years after its debut. but maybe touching up some of the high-stress areas prone to jackhammering could help prolong its life. RMCs aren't overly expensive, but they also aren't cheap. They're definitely in the budget of major chain parks, but small, independent parks may be looking elsewhere to improve their aging wooden coasters. One of them is New Mexico Rattler at Cliffs Amusement Park. This is a small CCI which I've gotten a bunch of rides on, and it's not too rough, but it could definitely wear on you. If Cliffs can afford to bring in GCI, they may be able to address a couple spots that need work. Arkansas Twister at Magic Springs is a rare relocated wooden coaster, which is always a dangerous proposition. And by all accounts, it's a rough piece of crap. I'll find out for myself next year, because this is actually one of my new home parks. If it's as rough as people say, the steel retrack would be great. The last coaster in this category is Cheetah at Wild Adventures. Here's another CCI at a park that's actually operated by Hershen, who also operates the big budget parks of Dollywood and Silver Dollar City. But Wild Adventures is on a different level, and can't expect to get a big money addition. Retracking Cheetah to make it more rideable is a realistic goal over the RMC treatment. Now let's get into some coasters from major parks that are currently good, I doubt will get RMC'd, and could really benefit from the Titan track. Let's start with Wildcat at Hershey Park. I had this on my list of woodies that really needed the RMC treatment, because I think the layout is weak, the park has 3 wooden coasters, and Hershey Park could use a coaster like this in their lineup. But as the original GCI, there may be a sentimental push to keep it as it is, and simply touch up some of the rough spots with some Titan track. American Eagle at Six Flags Great America is still a popular ride, but rumors about RMC coming in and turning it into a monster have been swirling for years. With Goliath right there in the same park, maybe Six Flags retracts the whole thing with steel track, smoothing out the jackhammer moments, especially in that helix, and gives it new Infinity Flyer trains, which are compatible with the Titan track. Great American Scream Machine at Six Flags Over Georgia has a strong layout. I really enjoy the airtime, but it's impossibly rough. I'm not sure how much of it would need to get retracked, probably most of it, but it would be money well spent. A similar layout is Mighty Canadian Mindbuster at Canada's Wonderland. It's an out and back, unlike Wildebeest, which I said should get RMC, and it could make a comeback as a solid ride if it was smoother. Judge Roy Scream at Six Flags Over Texas is another out and back woody that would be a lot more pleasant with some retracking. Timberwolf at Worlds of Fun is one of the better din coasters, and the park has reprofiled this in the past, so why not take the next step and make the whole thing smoother? It has a good layout, so this is all it needs. Grizzly at King's Dominion gets mixed reviews. Some love it, and some hate how painful it is. So with Twisted Timbers in the same park, maybe GCI can work out the rough spots. Finally, the Legend at Holiday World was running great in 2020, but my other rides over the last 4 years have been god-awful. Who knows how long the recent track work will be effective? Getting Titan track in those high-stress spots where I've been jackhammered in the past may be a more permanent solution. We're gonna end this with 6 great coasters that could be bumped into the elite tier if it got some Titan track, and RMC should come nowhere near these. Let's start with the Legends Halloween neighbor, the Raven. It may be short, but it's powerful. It won the Golden Ticket Award for Best Wooden Coaster multiple times. It used to be in my top 10, but ever since 2016, I noticed that this ride really beats you up. Maybe GCI can restore this aging CCI to get people to focus on that awesome layout instead of the pain. Ravine Flyer 2 at Waldemere isn't rough to the point of being painful, but it's rough to the point where you get stapled. These rough spots are concentrated in small areas, so getting some Titan track there would bump up this gravity group on my list. Thunderhead at Dollywood is another coaster with a Golden Ticket Award in its trophy case, but its wild, out-of-control layout really grinds on you. GCI should be proud of this layout. It just needs a small upgrade in certain areas. Speaking of golden tickets, Boulder Dash has a bunch, but over the last 20 years, it's been known for being more of a rough ride than an elite one. You don't want to kill the thrill of riding a wooden coaster down a mountain, but a little steel track on the rough spots would raise the ride's profile again. Mindblower at Fun Spot Kissimmee is a new ride, just finishing its 4th season, but it was rough right out of the gate. There are a lot of theories about why this is, like a rushed construction schedule, but if GCI can remedy this problem with some Titan track, Fun Spot should do it. This gravity group is otherwise amazing. The last coaster that I'll mention in this video is Gold Striker at California's Great America, one of the best GCIs. This is also pretty new, just 7 years old, but it definitely grinds on your brain. And after a few rides, you feel like it's time to tap out and head back over to Railblazer. There's no reason for this to be the case for a 2013 coaster, and sooner or later, Cedar Fair may invest into improving one of their star attractions. It's great to see GCI raising their game in the face of RMC and Gravity Group's advancements in the wooden coaster world. It'll be exciting to see which coasters after Predator get this treatment, and which parks opt for this more mild, subtle method of improving their existing rides instead of going with the dramatic RMC overhaul. It'll also be exciting to see where the first ground-up Titan Track GCI will pop up, and what it'll look like. Its size, its elements, it'll be something unprecedented, and GCI will finally break out of the traditional wooden twister model that they've built their company on over the last 3 decades. Let me know which coasters that you would like to see get the Titan Track treatment, and which ones should just go with the RMC treatment. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like. That's the best way to show your support for the channel. And if you aren't subbed yet, please consider doing so for at least 2 coaster videos every week. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.